Hi yogis, Pamela Quinn. I'm coming to you today from my office in the Sims studio. Today, I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about, so I kind of did the random flip in one of my books, and oh gosh, it was so good, the random flip sometimes. And this is what popped out to me. An illness does not go away by simply pronouncing the name of the medicine. The medicine needs to be swallowed. Ouch, right? Yeah, so this really speaks to the practice in yoga, the disciplined, really, approach of yoga, what we call tapas, T-A-P-A-S. And no, that's not like a groovy little food you can eat. So tapas is discipline. It's a disciplined focus on your yoga, your meditation, your spiritual practices. And without a disciplined approach to this, you're never going to go very far. I'm not going to say you're not going to go anywhere, but you're not going to go very far. This is the hard pill for yogis that is very incredibly hard to swallow. So what does discipline look like? Well, what yogis do is they get up a little bit earlier than everybody else, and they do a physical practice of yoga, and they sit in meditation, and they do this every day. Yogis are very concerned with their digestive fire, what we call their Agni, and so the foods eaten and the times of day eaten are not unique, they're just natural. So it's the elimination of processed food, it's the elimination of less favorable habits, it's the elimination really of non-food items and embracing more of what we call a sattvic or pure diet, which excludes things like caffeine and alcohol and meat and obviously processed foods. It's eating around the same time each day to stoke this digestive fire, and it's going to bed at a good time every night, which is usually between 10 and 11. So when we say discipline, when we say tapas, now you're probably thinking, oh God, I never want to be a yogi. That sounds terrible. It's not like you can't, cheat a little bit, we'll call it. I mean, I hate to use the word cheat, but you can cheat a little bit. But when you're first establishing yourself in yoga, you're not supposed to cheat. You're supposed to really approach this seriously. The people who do that are the people who are suffering the most. So if you are living with chronic pain, if you are depressed, if your life is kind of falling apart, maybe you're going through divorce, or like me, kids going off to college and you're finding your life is transitioning dramatically, then you may be at a pain point where you're suffering enough that you're willing to actually put the effort in to do the work that brings the mind and the body into balance so that you start to live a more happy, ultimately, life. It's hard, I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's not easy, and the more you go deeper into yoga, the more you'll find, maybe it's not as easy to be part of society. So there is a withdrawing part that happens too, and that's actually really, really healthy. Does it stay that way? No, it doesn't stay that way. At some point you heal, and when you heal, you come off your mountaintop, and now you're ready to rejoin the world. Does that mean you give up your practices? Do you give up this disciplined approach, this approach of fire? Yeah, you do, but you do it not in the sense of you're giving up your stuff. It has become a habit. So it's easy. It's actually what you crave. So ultimately, in the end, this disciplined approach can go away because it's habitual now to get up, to move the body, to do the meditation. You will actually prefer to eat food over non-food items. You will prefer to go to bed at a good time. You will prefer to hang out with people who are like-minded in support of your new way of living. So yeah, it does go away, but not in the way that you quit. One thing is interesting about this pill that we're swallowing is when you stop taking your medicine, you get sick again. So if you're meditating, life gets really, really great and groovy, and then you stop. because life gets great and groovy. You're like, I don't need this so much anymore. Everything's fixed. And then within a few weeks, a month's time, you'll find that that habitual mind, which created the problems to begin with, has just taken over again, and you've fallen, off your wagon, if you will. And you start to get into trouble and suffer again. So then what do? You go back to your cushion, you start meditating again. So it's this process. And, it's not easy, but it's so worth it. It's so rewarding. Um, if you want to establish yourself in meditation, in yoga, it's best to do it in community with like-minded people. And that's only because you would imagine it's really, really hard to be disciplined. But if you're around people who are inspiring you, if you're around people you can share with and talk to and share your practices with, you're more likely to engage on that level. So for me, I love to meditate by myself. And I'm well established in meditation, so that isn't like a problem for me. My problem is the physical movement. So I might like to go for a walk by myself because my dog's with me, but I hate to practice yoga by myself, especially like Kundalini yoga. I only like to practice that in a group. So I have my classes that I go to every week, and then those keep me on track. And then I'll be honest, my personal practice it looks like the easiest Kundalini set offered, and just like poses that I actually like to do on my own. And I'm lucky, I'm obviously surrounded by a yoga studio and lots of yogis. So get into the studio, and we will help you establish yourself through this practice and make swallowing the medicine a little bit easier for you, right? Hope this was helpful. Thank you.